How's it going?
Hello, welcome to the Unfazed Podcast, number 9,748.
That's right. I'm Emmett.
And I'm Ben.
He's Ben. We were just hanging earlier. Went for a
Hanging?
nice stroll at the old mall.
Yeah, I had
Classic.
a good day. Ate a little bit of the hamburguesa.
I had Chipotle.
Oh, yeah, it was good.
Yeah. Our usual route.
Got my Wayland Utani Corp mug.
I got my Wayland Utani Corp shirt.
Perfect. They actually invested in the podcast, so it's
Yeah.
pretty good. Pretty good. So what's new? Tell me about your week.
Hey, my week was good. It's pretty lazy. What is it, Monday? So I haven't done much.
Today's Monday. May 20th or 21st? 20th?
May 20th, yeah.
May 20th.
I had my friend holding a chicken from Fry's as my background on my phone.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's very good. It's very good.
Yeah, we have a pact. His background is me in a pool, and I'm at like half height, so it looks like I'm really small. You know, it like warps you, so I look like a midget.
Nice.
And he's my background.
That's beautiful. my background is the stock one that my phone came with.
Oh, it's fantastic. We
And
should have backgrounds of each other at some point.
I would love that. We could do it on our computer.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
My old desktop background.
Yeah,
HD
it'll be like George posing on the couch.
Yeah.
The sensual photo shoot.
Beautiful.
Oh gosh. Yeah, as far as what's new with me, yeah, nothing crazy. The whole last week I was sick, so I just literally slept and watched reruns of The Twilight Zone, and that was about it, man.
Amazing.
I ate a lot of soup. That was about the extent of my week.
Soup is good.
Yeah, it was
It
good.
gets a little soupy after a while, though.
Yeah, when you got a sore throat, sometimes it's the only thing that
Yeah.
that works. That and tea and sucking on cough drops and other things. No, it was good.
Oh, God.
It was good. Speaking of Twilight Zone, did you want to talk about the new one?
Oh, yeah, we were just talking about it briefly earlier, and we were kind of discussing why we both didn't think it was going to work. I'm sure you guys are familiar with that show Black Mirror. And I don't like Black Mirror, actually, for the same reason I don't like Game of Thrones. We were discussing Game of Thrones as well, because it's just coming to a close as of yesterday. The last episode aired. But I was talking about how I don't like Game of Thrones because everyone seems kind of cold and it's like, unfeeling and just like trying to get to the top. They seem very unempathetic. And the same thing with Black Mirror. If you ever watch Black Mirror, the message is always that technology and social media is making us all cold and vain towards each other, and everyone's like just doesn't really give a shit about each other. But that's not. I don't experience that in the world at all.
I do. No, I'm just kidding.
Every once in a while there's a dick, but I think
too.
most people are there's a lot of people I really love. And it's just, I don't know. I think it's a very...
I think that narrative's kind of tired.
Yeah, it is.
It's kind of played out.
And the idea that like social media is doing that to us also just makes us seem like, I don't know, these like very easily malleable dummies.
Yeah. I mean, part of it's true, but it's kind of become a cliche. Like you see the people that are really plastic and really fake, and their lives revolve around their social media. Like that's kind of it's almost like a joke now,
right?
Because it's been that way for like a decade, and you see these people that are so surface level and so basic, like they're kind of a caricature of themselves at this point,
right? And I think I think it's a very like pretentious, inaccurate overgeneralization.
You can't lump a whole generation together.
Yeah,
I mean you can. But there's always exceptions.
Yeah. There was I think I saw one episode of Black Mirror. It was like the first one.
The one with the chip in the back of the neck?
Wasn't that one? I might have seen that one too. It was one of the early ones. It was about this prime minister or whatever, and there's some kind of there's a hostage in the UK, and the only way that they're gonna free the hostage is if this prime minister like fucks a pig. And they film it. That's literally it. So like, there's all this crap. They try to get around it. They can't get around it. So eventually, like, he does it at the end. Like he does it, and like everyone hates him. His wife hates him. He like loses his job. But it's like he looked dumb in front of the camera, so everyone just hates him forever now. But this guy was like a hero. He did this disgusting thing to save a life.
Yeah.
You think people will be able to like not have like this 10-year-old brain and look past the fact that like at the end he was like trying to talk to his wife and she just like walked away. It was like inferred that everyone just hates him and he's ruined forever because he fucked this pig. It was the most ridiculous situation, and I think the message was so
it's terrifying,
sad. I don't think that would be the reaction at all if something that bizarre happened. It would be like, holy shit, this guy really went hard in the paint. Like
I heard that the pig actually won an Emmy.
Exactly. Yeah. So right from square one, that was the first episode I remember watching, and I was just like, oh come on,
it's pretty fucked.
Yeah, and it was just a stupid idea anyway, but. Anyway, the new Twilight Zone kind of gives me that vibe. I think because they're trying to bring it into the modern world, it's just going to be a kind of a rehashed Black Mirror kind of thing.
To do, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my thing is, I haven't watched them yet. I'm curious to see, just because I have so much love for the original series. But I don't know, man. I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some of the stuff I've heard Jordan Peele say, everyone immediately when you say Jordan Peele, they say he's a genius. He's a genius. He's all right. He's good.
Yeah.
But yes, I don't know. I feel like they're probably going to try to get too political or something, and it's not going to be the same as the originals as far as like the suspense factor and things like that. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe we'll binge it and we'll talk about it because I can't really judge it yet because I haven't watched it. But just based on the track record of modern remakes, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
I don't even think it has I haven't watched it yet, but that kind of horror I don't think has a place in today's society.
Well, I don't know. It depends on the execution.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't know. Back in the 50s, there was so much mystery still in the early 60s. I don't know. We didn't know enough to where that kind of thing was frightening.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? There was enough unknown. But now,
and what's cool is that when that stuff first aired in the late 50s and early 60s, most of that hadn't been touched on before.
Right.
Visually, like on a TV show or in a movie or anything like that. So it was all new frontier.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. But, I don't know, man. I know they tried bringing the Twilight Zone back, I think in the 80s. They did like a Twilight Zone movie.
Yeah, that was bad.
And I think someone or a couple people got killed during the making of it. It was like cursed to begin with, like some helicopter accident or something.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And I've never watched that either, so I don't know. But,
it was very bad.
But yeah, remakes, you got to be careful, man, especially when you're dealing with such precious subject matter that has a built-in fan base already. Yeah. Because there's a big chance you're going to screw it up. But, we'll see.
I think in general, I get it because of companies and producers want to make sure that, they want to cash grab. Mm-hmm. So things that were good are remade, but that's the opposite as it should be, If something was already good, leave it alone. It's good. That's the best it's going to be. Mm-hmm. They should be remaking stuff that was bad. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I know that's never going to happen because no one's going to take that risk, but that's the only thing that makes sense.
I would love that. I would love to go back and let's say for the past, you could even go beyond 50 years. You could go way back. You could go to some really old movies that were real duds. Yeah. Take those, take the concept, take the core of it, and say, how do we make this good?
Right, exactly.
How do we make, oh gosh, what's a good example of a flop? I'm trying to think of a real big flop. Like, let's take, okay, I can't think of anything right now, but let's take something from the 1950s that nobody saw, like some weird, B movie that nobody saw, and let's make that a masterpiece.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Yeah. Which they totally could do.
Yeah. I always thought this might be a reach, but considered one of the earliest worst movies ever, Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Yeah.
I think if that was done with today's effects and they really tried to make it serious and subtle, that'd be really cool.
Oh, definitely. That'd
be cool as hell. But
some of those old Vincent Price movies and some of those that just were kind of
true,
limited by the time in which they were made.
Definitely.
That could be great, man. You'll see it with some songs too. Sometimes there'll be a song that's remade and you're like, wow, that's great. And you listen to the original version. It's rare, but every once in a while you'll say, wow, that's way better than the original.
Yeah,
and I think that's something they could totally do with movies, 100%. And same with TV shows. Like, imagine making, I wouldn't want to touch something as sacred as like The Munsters or something like that. But imagine taking something like, or like Night Gallery, It's same as like Twilight Zone, like one of those, and kind of respinning it. I mean, it's the same shit though. Like, that's kind of what they do with Black Mirror. It's like a modern telling of.
But I don't know. Like if you aced a class, you wouldn't go back and retake it. You'd retake the one you got a D in. Skeeter would. That's what Skeeter would, but he's Skeeter.
Mrs.
But I don't know. It's just it makes me sad because I think there were a lot of things that had potential, but then the execution was always screwed up. So why not do that again and try and make it better?
Exactly.
But there's no one that's gonna, I don't know, be willing enough or brave enough to try to make that happen. With all their money.
Yeah, I mean, give it time. Things go in cycles. They're gonna wear out every possible superhero option that they have and remake option, and then finally they'll say, let's start remaking the bad stuff.
Yeah. I was thinking more lately how insane. Speaking of that, how insane it was to bring in Captain Marvel. She was even before she was on the cinematic scene in terms of the Marvel stuff. I remember hearing about her and just in the comic book world. How she was the most rehashed, the most disliked of the superheroes. And
not much has changed.
Not much has changed, yeah. And I don't know whether they decided to make her front and center all of a sudden there were so many other female superheroes I could have chosen from, but they decided to choose like the least liked, most boring one.
It's odd, and it's odd they haven't crossed over X-Men yet with them because
they gotta get on that.
They're gonna, I guarantee you, they're gonna do Secret Wars. They're gonna do Marvel Secret Wars once they burn out this Avengers, whatever it is, Endgame era. I don't know where that comes from. I don't know where that comes from.
You're starting Avengers Phase 2.
Yeah, but I'm sure they'll do Secret Wars at some point.
I hope so.
And then they'll burn it out by 2025, I'm guessing. But we'll see.
Yeah.
We shall see. The only movies I'm excited about right now, John Wick 3. Looks amazing.
John Wick 3, yeah.
Very excited for that. Some good old school testosterone-driven action.
Masterpieces of action. I've never been really into straight-up action movies. I don't know what it is.
I like them. It depends on which action movie we're talking about, and also I think the lead has a lot to do with it. You know, I like Keanu. He's cool. Halle Berry's supposed to be in this one. I like her.
Oh, really? I like her too, yeah.
Yeah, I like Halle Berry a lot,
glad she's still doing stuff.
Yeah, she's beautiful. And she's supposed to be kicking ass in this one, so...
Cool.
Looking forward to that for sure. I did have a question for you. We do random questions here at the Unfazed office. So my question is, and it kind of ties into what we were talking about loosely, why do you think movies and television... And well, I wouldn't say all television, but let's go with movies. Why do you think they were so much better in the 90s than now?
I think people had more of a creative license in the 90s. You know, people didn't care as much.
I'm just drinking the coffee. Sorry.
They didn't. I mean, they weren't as self-reflective as much. They're just having fun and enjoying the process, and I think that made the movies more organic and more fun to watch.
I can see it.
Nowadays, it's like everything. I mean, like society is so vain. I know that sounds dumb to say that, but it's true.
Yeah.
They like it reflects on directors and filmmakers too. Like everything has to look perfect. Take like Zack Snyder, right? Mm-hmm. His stuff is the most blowhard, like beautiful to look at, but no substance kind of shit. You wouldn't see anything like that in like the 90s. I feel like everything was so zany and just enjoying itself.
Yeah,
I think just the mindset is very like this has to be a masterpiece.
Yeah,
you know, I love Christopher Nolan. I do really like his stuff.
Yeah,
but I think one of my least favorite quotes of his is he said, and this totally I get this vibe from all of his movies, and it is actually like my least favorite aspect of his movies. He said you have to make, at least this is his mindset going into film. You have to make every film feel like it's, you know, like the most epic, important film ever made, right? And like you totally get that vibe from him, you know?
Yeah.
The big Hans Zimmer soundtracks.
I disagree with that though, because I mean, then what? With some comedies, it's like, how do you approach it that way?
Right. No. I guess I mean he's talking specifically with drama, but even so, I don't think not everything has to feel like the climax. You know?
Exactly,
everything's got its own vibe.
Sometimes you don't need a whole orchestra.
Yeah.
You can convey things with just one instrument, you know?
Yeah, right. And he's very good at that grand, exciting ending and everything. And
he's great, no doubt, but not everyone's style has to be exactly that way. Otherwise, things would be really boring.
Yeah. And all the vibes of his movies are very similar. And then there's people like Scorsese, whose vibes are completely different.
Yeah.
Like he did The Departed and then he did like Hugo. You know? Who would do that?
Which is incredible,
It's insane,
That's why he's one of the best.
Yeah. And then... Spielberg, right? He would do like Jaws, and then he would do E.T. You know,
he wasn't afraid to take risks, especially when he was younger.
Right.
Yeah, and I think there's that kind of invincibility and foolishness that is needed with young directors, where it's like, let's take a chance. Like we can do no wrong, and if we do, fuck it, we'll make another one. We'll do better the next time. You know.
Yeah.
They weren't afraid to take swings.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
So I think that's definitely missing. And I think a lot of the studios are afraid to financially back young directors and people who don't have a proven track record.
Yeah.
With, you know, like fucking J.J. Abrams and Zack Snyder and these guys that have been doing it for so long and have this crazy track record, you know, and they're safe. You know, they're like the Bank of America, and like, you know, they're too big to fail, you know, like they're like that, and you don't have anyone taking a chance on the little guys anymore.
Which is sad.
And that's what they did in the 70s and 80s and 90s. I think there were so many directors that were kind of coming out of nowhere, and they weren't afraid to channel money into projects that could potentially fail but were unique.
Right.
And now you're not seeing that. Now it's just safe, money. It's like it's not really a creative business anymore. It's like the show is disappearing from the business, you know?
Yeah, I agree. And I think when that started, like really early on, there was like the first wave of it was after the first Godfather. I've been noticing there's a channel that plays all these old movies, and they play a lot of old, shitty, like 70s, early post Godfather action movies.
Yeah.
And they're all like really violent, but there's like no point to them.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just very glaringly obvious that they're trying to be the Godfather. It's like, oh, we can be violent now, so everyone's getting shot. There's blood everywhere, but then like everything else is gone. You know?
Yeah, I think after Coppola and Scorsese hit the scene, that's when action mixed with really good storytelling kind of came to the forefront.
Yeah.
And you had movies like Taxi Drivers, Mean Streets,
stuff
like
amazing,
that. And I think, that's when people were like, hey, violence is okay. And then you also had the B movies that were still good, like Death Wish and movies like that, Charles Bronson. And even like Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid, that had some violence, some good shootouts. Mm-hmm. So I think they saw at that point, they're like, hey, we can do this. But they were, just like anything, there were people hopping on the bandwagon.
Yeah, they're the idiots who like just wanted the violence.
Yeah, and the thing is, they don't understand that in those movies, specifically like Taxi Driver, there's a build-up.
Right.
You have action, you have gore, you have violence, but you can't neglect the hour and a half of character development and quality storytelling.
Yeah, and there's immersive like context to the violence too. It's not just violence for violence. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's where they make the mistake, and that's the same with all these movies now. It's just like, all right, we got to have a lot of CGI, we got to have aliens flying around, we got to have people doing this, and we got to have some really poorly timed jokes in weird places.
Yeah, right.
And they're following a formula. That's what it is. It all comes down to formula, and when it's not authentic and when it's not done skillfully, it just looks really terrible.
Yeah.
And we see what you're doing.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think you hit the nail on the head. I think it's authenticity. It's having care for a specific creation versus trying to like rehash some formula, something is going to work.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the divide is, definitely. Same with people. I don't mean to like turn this on to myself, but
do it.
Someone the other day asked me like, why is your instrumentation for all your songs so different? Like I just did a pseudo rock song with electric guitar and stuff, and now I'm doing something that's like a violin trio and piano and like opera vocals, almost. And I'm like, I don't even think about it. It's not like I'm trying to be super different. It's just like whatever serves that song specifically, I need to do that.
Good. You need that variety,
So it's like same with movies. Like whatever serves the story, you need to surround it around that. You can't you can't do the other way around where it's like, oh, we know this is going to work, so just make a story that fits this.
Yeah.
And then, it's just, I don't know.
You can't approach No Country for Old Men the same way you would approach an X-Men movie.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So, everything's kind of case-specific,
The Coen brothers are great, juxtaposed against Christopher Nolan. Because, he's a guy who really tries to create a vibe, and the Coen brothers, you can tell it's just so them. They don't really give a shit, you know? They're just...
And they can really do it. They can throw it out the window completely and still hold things together.
Yeah.
And they can do something like crazy, like the Big Lebowski.
Yeah, Big Lebowski and
it's
No Country for Old Men is so different.
And it's a masterpiece though, but it's like disjointed in the best kind of way.
Yes, yeah.
Or it seems that way, but it's really very well crafted and
very
carefully put together. Yeah. But it just seems like everything's happening kind of randomly.
Yeah, right. Have you ever seen? Yeah, they're really masters of storytelling and of themes.
They're some of the best.
Yeah, they are. Have you seen Barton Fink?
No.
With John Turturro?
No.
Really good.
Really good?
Really good, dude, yeah. That's one of their underrated ones.
Is that one of their early ones?
Yes, yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
It's a great one. It's also got John Goodman.
Yeah, there's a couple of their movies I've actually missed, but everything that I have seen from the Coen brothers I really love and respect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those guys are geniuses, man.
Yeah, they're amazing.
They're fantastic.
And yeah, they're completely, I think, what we're talking about. They just do what they know they want to do, and they don't really care what anyone's going to think. And they're always independent, right? I mean, I know they have that thing on Netflix now.
Yeah.
But I'm sure, there's such well-established filmmakers who wouldn't want to work with them,
Yeah, they can do whatever they want. I don't know. How are things going for you creatively right now? Like independently creatively. Like I know we've got our own stuff cooking, but what are you working on right now?
Oh, well, I'm working on that tune with the strings and everything, and it's been a really fun process. It's usually when I write stuff, I just do pianos and vocals because I can do those two things. But there's some things that I write where I just realize it needs this. I remember the moment that rock song that I made back in the fall. I remember the moment I realized this is a rock song. It kind of came to me. I didn't want it to be a rock song.
Yeah.
It was almost just between the chords and the subject matter and the tempo and everything, it just clicked. I was this is totally a rock song.
That's good.
And so the same thing happened with this one. I was it needs a strings section, which is going to be tough.
Yeah.
Because the only strings players I know are really busy.
Yeah.
So it's been a very piece by piece, literally thing. We've recorded the bass and the cello and the violin all separately, but it's sounding really gorgeous. So I'm excited for it. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing it on side. What's the name of the song?
It's called "Rest Your Soul on Me."
Beautiful.
Yeah. Beautiful. I'm a stickler for the sappy stuff, but I think it's gonna be great. Yeah.
Hey, if you're happy with it and it's turning out the way you like it, that's great, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
I'm glad to see it. And then as far as the Unfazed projects go, we do have some more stuff on the horizon. Some more skits coming your way. Definitely, always
cooking.
Yeah, we've got a few. We've been meaning to make, but you know how it is with time. But
I think we'll
have some stuff up this summer.
Yeah,
for sure.
A lot of our stuff can be few and far in between, but I think it's for the same reason. Like we want it to be really good. If there's like a genuine idea that we're excited about, we'll do it. But we're not going to like force anything out, you know.
Yeah, I don't like it when it's.
We don't want constipated stuff.
Yeah, well, this is constipated. Well, guys. Yeah, right. That's a whole different story. Yeah, but I feel like sometimes when I have periods of time where I am just focused on the day-to-day bullshit. That's when some of the best ideas come to me. Yeah, that's when you get a lot of inspiration, and I think it's important. I think it's good to go through the day-to-day minutia of life, and realize that hey, I do want to be doing more. Yeah, and I do want to focus my time and my energy on my off days onto podcasting or vlogging or whatever it may be, writing or in your case songwriting. So I think it's good to have a balance and kind of have the best of both worlds.
Yeah, and I mean it's important to have those sort of mundane shooting the breeze. Weeks or months that go by where you're just ingesting information and nothing's really happening. Yeah, you need your fuel.
I think it was kind of good being sick this past week, actually. As weird as that sounds.
It kind of rejuvenates you, too.
It really does, because you're kind of off the grid. I mean, like, I wasn't hanging out with anyone or anything, and I was working very little because I was so incredibly sick. And, so I was just at home and, like, just either sleeping or absorbing other people's information, So listened to a lot of podcasts. I watched a lot of stand-up.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And you just kind of have that time to kind of sit and reflect, and then naturally it's just the way my mind is, then you start just like, oh, I have an idea of an idea, and then just have the notebook handy. Yeah. And that's when stuff comes to you, when you're really not trying.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, right.
Yeah, which is good. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to the summer. Definitely, we're going to be putting some more stuff out there. I'm really excited to focus more on the travel series and doing more stuff for the channel. So definitely stay posted, guys, because we'll be having some more stuff coming on here.
We got many ideas in the works right now.
We really do. It's just a matter of picking which one we want to jump on. Yeah. And but it's always a lot of fun. We always have a good time.
Yeah, we always do.
Yeah.
Oh man, it always feels, once we're like in that zone and we're making it, it doesn't feel so long since the last one.
It really doesn't.
It's like that once we're in that mindset again, it's like no time has passed.
Yeah, it's true. It's like getting like immediately back into the groove. Like I feel like there's no delay.
Yeah, but I don't know. Creating anything is always, when we're in the midst of it, I don't know. I always feel most myself there, which I think is good.
This is very true.
Yeah.
This is very true. Like a fish in the water.
Yeah, exactly.
A fish in the creative water.
Fish in the water.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I'm excited.
Definitely. Should we give them a hint at a couple of things we have cooking?
What were you thinking?
I don't know. I don't know what I want to reveal.
We have a few. Well, just broadly, we have a few skit ideas similar to what you have seen before. Obviously, different specific ideas, different things we're bashing. But
biggest thing I think we'll probably try to do is up the quality.
Oh yeah,
that's always what we want to do. Because some of those, I mean, like the last one we did, like we were fucking around with like our phones. You know what I mean? Like we're not. You're working on a shoestring budget here. Yeah. But that's definitely one thing I want to focus on. Is just as far as the quote unquote cinematography goes, just make it look a little cleaner.
Yeah, if we can get it to the point where you're not thinking about it at all, I think we've done our job.
Absolutely. Which is always a struggle when you're working on the kind of budget we're working on. Which is next to zero.
Our pocket change.
Yeah, our pocket change. But it's always fun to have some stuff. Like we actually have a lot of ideas kind of in the backlog.
We do.
We
always do, yeah.
But, and then I got some stuff in the editing bay I have to work on.
Very cool. Yeah, me too.
As far as, the travel vlogs go, definitely, if there's any specific recommendations you guys have for places you'd like us to check out, always feel free, shoot us an email or feel free to comment on it, whatever you feel.
We're looking for some places kind of far away from us, but also I was thinking, because we both have lived in Arizona all our lives, but if you guys are not from Arizona and there's any places in Arizona you want us to check out, let me know, because I don't really know what's of interest in Arizona,
Yeah, because we kind of take it for granted because it's always been in our backyard, and after a while you get kind of bored of it, honestly, when you're living in a place for so long.
And I think that there's so many little towns in Arizona that I don't even know about, so if there's any ones that you guys are interested in, I probably haven't heard of them, we can check them out.
So. Yeah, and if you look at any of our other vlogs, we did Goldfield. We did Sedona a long time ago. Yeah. It'd be fun to do some more. I was thinking like, I guess I can throw a couple to you guys. We were thinking like maybe like Yuma Territorial Prison might be cool to check out. Yeah. We were thinking later on this year, 2 places for sure we'd like to go. We were considering Oregon, and I don't know if I want to reveal the other one. The other one's kind of I'd like to be a surprise, but we'll have to take a plane for sure.
I was thinking Disneyland.
I was thinking Disney World. Oh. Wow. No.
I wonder, they're probably real strict on like filming and stuff in Disneyland. You know.
You think?
Probably just like snipe the camera right out of your hands. Yeah. I don't know. They're so weird.
Goofy's up in a clock tower.
Yeah. There's that whole thing. You know that ride, the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
There's that whole thing where people like dump their loved ones' ashes there.
Really?
And then like apparently it's like a real thing. People have done that. And like Disney denies it, and they immediately like sweep up the ashes. And there's so much like weird hidden. They're trying to keep it so immaculate, you know.
That's crazy.
So it's like,
can you imagine dumping the ashes on the track? God.
So I feel like
So I wonder if there's any actual paranormal activity there.
I don't know. Yeah.
I wonder if you were to actually conduct a ghost hunting session with all the stuff off inside of the Haunted Mansion.
Eddie Murphy shows up.
Yeah. Eddie, what are you doing?
Oh man, yeah, I don't know. I feel like if we were to pull out a camera, 2 guys in Mickey Mouse outfits would come whisk us away.
Yeah, throw us in handcuffs.
And then we'd be ashes in a Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, they'd tase us and pull our pants down. I don't know.
Man.
I feel like you might be able to get away with it if you did it all on your phone, and maybe if we had some onboard mics.
True.
We could probably do it.
Yeah. If you get one of those like holsters for your phone on your chest, and then it's kind of like almost like a GoPro.
Yeah. If anyone wants to throw us about $1,000 on Patreon funding. Then we'll do that for sure.
For sure. Yeah, I don't know. I always get eerie vibes from Disneyland.
Yeah,
I much prefer Universal. We went to Universal together. That was great.
Yeah, we're due for another trip soon.
Yeah, we are.
That would be one. Yeah, definitely. So keep your eyes on that. As far as Unfazed travels go, we've actually got quite a few earmarked. So I'm excited for you guys to see these kind of come to fruition as the year goes on. But it's just a matter of time and getting the crew together, you know?
Yeah, and it always happens so quickly. We usually do everything in a day. The filming and the editing and posting.
Yeah, it's all very quick.
So it's all just boom.
Very, very, very rarely. I mean, there's a few things where, you know, one of our cameramen will have the footage and then, you know, I'll be lazy with editing it or whatever. It'll take a long time. But other times, specifically with the travel vlogs, same kind of thing. It's like we film it, we edit it, we post it, and it's usually like bam, 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 like done within like 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah. Like the secret menu items video. It was Ben's idea. It was a genius idea.
Thanks, man. We did. It's so silly. We did that in like a couple hours.
Yeah, it was such a joyous like.
It was like
really
posted like by this time that night. You know, it was like we started at like 1 p.m. It was like online people watching it by like 7:30 or 8.
Yeah,
you know?
It was so fun. Yeah. So more stuff like that for sure.
So yeah, the quicker the better for sure. But we appreciate you guys listening and subscribing and sharing our stuff with your like-minded friends.
Yeah. And we know like YouTube is such a fast-paced place. You know, there's always like the new drama, the new whatever. But we're kind of like against that. We're unfazed. You know, we want to. If we have a great idea, we'll give it to you guys, and if not, we'll have to wait a minute. So
definitely. And if you guys have any questions or suggestions or anything you'd like to send to us, feel free to email us unfazedmedia@gmail.com. We got it in the description, and we might read some of your questions on the next podcast.
That'd be fun, yeah. And
I mean, if it's worthy, you know.
If it's worthy,
if it's worthy.
We'll pick and choose the best questions.
We definitely will.
So Ben, why are you so beautiful?
I can't help it. I was born this way. I'm so pretty. Yeah.
Oh my God. All right. Well, thank you guys.
Thanks for listening, guys, and we'll see you in a week or so.
Take care.
Hasta la vista.